Internal Revenue Service IRS tax news. IRS improves services to taxpayers with digital authorizations and launch of new Tax Pro account. IR 2021-154, July 19, 2021, Washington. The Internal Revenue Service today launched a new feature that will give taxpayers digital control over who can represent them or view their tax records, a groundbreaking step in the agency's expansion of electronic options for taxpayers and tax professionals. And this could potentially be a very good change. Note that when you're working with tax professionals, you might be working with them in order to help you to prepare tax returns, and you might be working with them in order to help represent you in order to, in other words, make decisions on your behalf, possibly acting as kind of your agent, which you would give basically a power of attorney in a similar kind of fashion as you might to like a lawyer who might be representing you in some other kind of situation, in which case they can kind of make decisions within the limits or range of the power of attorney that has been given to them in that situation. When you're talking about normal tax return preparation, it's becoming more and more important, even on the low end kind of side of things, to make some more verifications than it has in the past. In other words, when you're talking about just a normal kind of taxpayer, then the major documentation you would get is like a W-2, which would have the withholdings that would be given from the employer to the IRS, and that's pretty much all you would need for the documentation, because no estimated tax payments or anything are usually made in a very basic type of tax return. But now you've got all these prepayment things that are happening, including the advanced child tax credit and things like advanced payments for the health insurance, possibly for premiums and whatnot, which could be on another documentation, but those are another advanced kind of thing with this concept of the advanced payments. The stimulus payments, the economic impact payments are going to be advanced recovery rebate credit payments. So these are things that the normal tax preparers have to basically confirm on most tax returns in a way that they kind of didn't have to confirm some of these types of things before. It would be easy to do so, or easier possibly, if they had access to like that kind of information with the client's account. So possibly you can give them that kind of access so they can look at and confirm the advanced child tax payments and the advanced stimulus checks and that kind of thing, as well as help to sign the power of attorney if you want to give them authorization to actually discuss with the IRS kind of on your behalf, making decisions on your behalf if the IRS questions any kind of any action or any stance that you took on the tax return or something like that. Then it used to be that you had to get the power of attorney signed, either mail it in or fax it in, which could be, cause problems and not be as fast as it could be if you could just get the thing signed digitally, as many kind of businesses are able to do with different kinds of software. Then that would be a lot easier of a process too. So it is actually a really big thing if they can get this thing working cleanly. So the new feature, one of many recent enhancements to the online account, there's a link to the online account for individuals, will allow individual taxpayers to authorize their tax practitioner to represent them before the IRS with a power of attorney, a POA, and to view their tax accounts with a Tax Information Authorizations, the TIA. Quote, "The ability for taxpayers to connect online with their tax professionals is a groundbreaking step for the IRS," end quote, said Chuck Rettig, IRS Commissioner. And again, I know obviously when you're talking about agencies, they're kind of self-congratulatory all the time, or, when they did something, we did a great thing. And they have been doing a lot of different things here. But this is actually one of those things where I agree that it could be quite, good to have this in there. And it's something that basically they do need to update to be on par with a lot of what is happening on normal business sides, including being able to sign with electronic signatures and that kind of thing, not faxing in, signatures and whatnot as much, if you can avoid that. So in any case, quote, "This is the first basic step toward a more fully integrated digital tax system that will benefit taxpayers, tax professionals, and the IRS," end quote. As of today, tax professionals may go to the new Tax Pro account. There's a link to that new Tax Pro account on irs.gov, irs.gov, the IRS website, to digitally initiate POAs, power of attorneys, and TIAs. These digital authorization requests are simpler versions of Forms 2848 and 8821. Those are the prior power of attorney forms and request forms that, again, you used to have to kind of mail in or possibly fax in and whatnot, which again could cause delays, and so that you can't take action as quickly as you would like if you could basically get those things processed and move forward quickly, right? So once completed and submitted by the tax professional, the authorization request will appear in the taxpayer's online account for their review, approval, and or rejection and electronic signature. So it seems similar, kind of like to those DocuSign type of things, but instead of it going through a DocuSign kind of hub, it's all going to be on the IRS website. So that would mean that the clients would have to get good at basically logging into their account on their end, and then everything would go through the IRS website. It seems to me, this is my interpretation or my envisionment of it thus far, the tax professional then filling out the power of attorney form, which the client has to sign in order for the taxpayer, the tax professional, like the CPA, to be able to represent them and make decisions possibly on their behalf. And they can send that over to the client side on their website, which they would have to log into, and then either like e-sign it if they agree with it or deny it, and then they can move forward from there. So that seems pretty good. So because taxpayers' identities already are verified at the time of login, they simply check a box as their signature and submit the authorization request to the IRS. A key benefit is the completed digital authorization, if accurate, will go directly to the centralized authorization file, the CAF database, and will not require manual processing. Most requests will be immediately recorded and appear on the list of approved authorizations in the taxpayer's online account and the tax professional's Tax Pro account. Some authorizations may take up to 48 hours. Tax professionals may then go to eServices transcript delivery service to see the taxpayer's records. This new digital authorization option will be a much faster process. It will allow the IRS to reduce its current CAF inventory and to focus on authorization requests received through fax, mail, or the submitted Forms 28, 48, and 88-29 online, all of which require IRS personnel to handle. Obviously, they're trying to limit the IRS personnel to handle things as well, but notice the fact that it takes the IRS to kind of personally handle like an e-signature thing, which you would think could kind of be an electronic thing that could go through with pretty minimal personal handling, makes the whole process kind of longer. And it would be good if you can make it not so long and fast, so you can kind of move forward. In connection with their tax professionals, taxpayers either log into their online account using their IRS username and password, or they must create an account after passing a one-time identity verification process. Taxpayers who cannot validate their identities cannot use this option, and their tax professionals must use the fax, mail, or online submission process. This will most likely be the biggest hurdle at this point in time because most people are not used to logging into the IRS like they are their bank or something like that. And there is kind of a fairly rigorous, you would think, a little bit more. They got to confirm things on their tax return in order to do so. Hopefully, it will become something that people become accustomed to and will be able to log into it in a similar way as people are pretty good at logging into their banking information and that kind of stuff, which still seems somewhat amazing to me that everything is online that way. But it's faster, so that's good. So, however, the IRS will be announcing a new process for this application later this year. So tax professionals should use their IRS username and password to access the Tax Pro account or create an account after verifying their identities. These initial launch of the Tax Pro account represents the first release of the tool. Over time, additional functionality will be added to taxpayers and tax professionals that will increase the options for electronic interactions. That's actually exciting. I'm actually excited, and I just can't hide it. That is actually could be a good thing here. So currently, the digital authorization process is available only to individual taxpayers, not businesses or other entities. Also, tax professionals must be in good standing with the IRS and already have a CAF number prior to making requests through Tax Pro accounts. So a CAF number. You need a CAF number. If you're a tax professional, you know what that is. You got to have that if you're going to be doing these things. So to initiate the authorization, tax professionals must enter their personal information and their client's personal information exactly as it appears on the IRS tax records. Also, the feature is available only to those with addresses in the United States. Tax Pro account is a separate tool from eServices. The help tax professionals educate their clients about this new process. The IRS has created 2 e-posters that practitioners may share. These are Publication 55, Why You Should Create an Online Account, and Publication 5533A, How to Submit Authorizations Using Tax Pro Account and Online Accounts. So if you're a tax professional and you're trying to get your clients to get on these accounts, which I think would be good to do early, because like I say, I'm thinking it could be quite favorable, save some time if you can look up things like the advanced child tax payments and stuff, where you know what's going to happen. You're going to ask them, well, did you get your advance payments? They're going to say, I don't know. Well, how many advance payments did you get? You should have got these, and it'd be a lot easier if you could check it out. Did you get the stimulus payment? Well, I got some stimulus. It'd be a lot easier if you could just look that stuff up and check it out if you can get your clients to have an account and whatnot. So there are additional features available to individual taxpayers from their online account. Taxpayers can view the amount they owe, updated for the current calendar day, their balance details by year, their payment history, and any schedule or pending payments, key information from their most recent tax return, payment plan details, digital copies of select notices from the IRS, their economic impact payments, if any, their address on file. Taxpayers can also make a payment online, see payment plan options, and request a plan via online payment agreement, access their tax records via Get Transcript. A lot of good stuff here. So in any case, there's links to some of this information here if you want to look at it in more detail. There'll be a link to this in the description.